Hey yo, what's up everyone? It's your boy Crisp Purpose back at it again with another Gems of War Viability ranking. Okay, so this week in the Glory Shop, we got this interesting troop right here, which is the Voiceless Golem. So we're going to be going over this troop right here, and we're going to be examining it to see if this troop is viable in the current state of the game. We're going to be looking at it in the areas of speed, spell usefulness, immunities/reductions, mana color and cost, and of course the troop's type. Then we're going to put it into a team, and then we're going to be giving it a rank. All right, so first off, let's look at this troop's speed. So when we check out the traits for this troop, obviously there's no swift there or fast. This troop doesn't have any mana start naturally by itself whatsoever in the spell. But the nice thing about it is this troop has a typing of uh, wild folk and construct. So the great thing about this that you can actually give this a 50% start by using such troops as King Selenus, which gives all wild folk allies a 50% start. And along with that, it is a construct, so of course you can use the Geomancer hero class, which is a very nice class. It has a lot of good traits and talents in the talent tree, so you can give it a 50% start from that. So that is actually a really good thing about this troop. Now let's move on to the spell usefulness. Now the Voiceless Golem has for his spell Silent Gaze, which is explode a gem, silence a random enemy for each yellow gem destroyed. Now easily you can get this through spell ready, cast it in an area where there's three or at least four yellow gems, and right there the entire enemy team is silenced. So if there's any enemies over there that's on the opposite side that's not immune to silence, is going to be a very powerful spell. Pretty easy to get the entire team silence. Silence is not like super meta, but when it comes on to making your team extremely safe and you won't have to worry about the spells from the opposite side, this spell right here, Silent Gaze, is pretty up there. All right, so let's move on to immunities/reductions. So when you look at the spell, really, really good. This troop has alert, which is immune to silence. It would be pretty redundant for the troop to have silence in its spell and not being immune to silence. So of course it's immune to silence right there with that alert trait. And of course it has stone skin, so it has a pretty good reduction to skull damage, 50%. So if you want, you can actually slot this into your team in first slot and make a run of it. You won't have to worry about dying from skulls. Now let's move on to an additional area of mana color and cost. The mana color for this troop is brown and yellow, of course, because it's a construct, and the majority of constructs are going to have brown as their color, and yellow because it is a wild folk. Interestingly, this is a bit high when it comes down to mana costs for a troop like this. Preferably you want to see it with a 12, 10 mana cost makes it pretty easy to get spell ready, but 14 isn't bad, being the fact that it is a wild folk, so you can give it a half mana start, and a construct, so you can give it a half mana start. So when you look at those areas, because of the typing of this troop, which is the final area that we're going to be looking at, this troop is actually really good to slot into some teams. Because you can give it a half mana start, because of the typing, this troop is actually a little bit more viable than you would think. It's actually more viable than many of the other golems that are in the game. All right, so let's look at this troop in a team. So up front we have, of course, the Voiceless Golem, and below that we have another construct troop here, which was recently in the Soul Forge, the Lord of Slaughter. The Lord of Slaughter is a construct, and it has a very powerful spell, which is Flail of Doom. Creates 6 brown gems, then convert all brown gems to Doom Skulls, a very powerful spell. Then inflict 1 to 2 bleeds and 1 to 2 death marks on random enemies. And of course, for a spell, the most powerful one is the final trait right there, which is Savage Strike, a 100% chance to ignore armor when dealing skull damage. And of course, there's a small amount of skull damage reduction, and Song of Doom, which is summon a Doomstorm at the start of battle. Now, so as to be my generator on the team right here, I have Czernobog. Now, Czernobog is a very powerful generator troop from the Hellcrag faction. He has Earth Tremor for his spell, create 10 brown gems, then explode 41 gems. Very powerful, and not only that, it has Dust Plume, which is conjure a dust storm at the start of my turn. So every single turn, I'm going to be having that dust storm going, which is going to benefit my Lord of Slaughter a lot. And of course, if I do lose my first slot, Czernobog has for his traits right there a reduction of 50% to skull damage. And my final troop is the hero, of course. and definitely using the Geomancer hero class. Stone Skin as well, and all construct allies start the battle with 50% mana. So right off the top, every troop is going to be having a 50% start, and I'm using right there the Shield of Urskaya. Shield of Urskaya is a very undoubtedly one of the best class weapons in the game. Why? It gives an ally 48 attack based on my magic, and then it is boosted by all enemy attacks. So the stronger the enemies are, the more attack I'll give to that particular troop, and it enrages them and barriers them as well. Now, in the weapon upgrades for this weapon, it actually has a stun, which is stun the first enemy, and sacred, bless myself. And along with that, it has radiant, it will give 1 mana to all allies, and of course, it has shielding, so it will also shield the hero here as well. Right, so in the class I have set Serendipity, which is give a random ally a random status effect. Along with that, I have Well Read, which is gain 3 magic if I'm using a tome. I'm not using a tome, so that doesn't really matter. Stone Circle, which is all brown allies, gain 3 armor. And Tactician, I'll gain 3 magic at the start of battle. And of course, I have Rock Solid set, gain Barrier when matching brown gems. All right, so yeah, that is the team. The banner right here that I'm using is the Carvinus banner, which is from the Durgaroth faction. It's a +2 brown, +1 purple, -green banner. I only have one troop that's using green, and it's not the main mana generating color. All right, so yeah, let's hop right in. Let me back out here. Let me show you guys. I'm actually not using any magic on this team. It doesn't require magic medals so as to work. I'm just using 2 seasons. And then Arania, if you want, you can actually go ahead and switch out this Arania here and put in another seasons. Doesn't, Arania only gives you attack, doesn't give you anything else. And yeah, that is the team right there. So let's hop right in and see how this actually works out. Okay, so our first assignment here, we want to see if we can get some purple to our Czernobog to get him going. If not, we're going to take brown, and there we go. Now, as you can see, our voiceless golem, as I said, is spell ready. And let's see if we can get an area where we can get a huge amount of yellow gems. How about here? We're going to get 3 here, 3 here. Let's take this. So 3 yellow. 3 enemies are silenced, just like that. Pretty easy. Now let's go ahead and cast our Czernobog. And we got our Lord of Slaughter powered up. Let's go ahead and cast him. Gonna issue out a lot of damage right there. The only thing about this troop, I wish additionally that it did some extra skull damage to a troop. If it had, like a double skull damage to silent enemies, or maybe, if possible, a triple skull damage, even though that's usually, left to a legend or higher to have that type of trait. But, if it had some type of an additional damage to silent enemies, it would actually make this troop a really high ranking troop. But yeah, we're going to take it for what it actually has. And let's go ahead and cast our Czernobog. And now let's cast our Lord of Slaughter again. So as you can see, the entire enemy team can't actually do anything to us because they're all silenced for the most part. It's only how many enemies left? 2. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can silence them now. I think that troop right here is immune to silence, right? That's why, exactly. Now let's cast our Czernobog. Got our Lord of Slaughter powered up again. Let's cast him. Doing a lot of damage there. See if we can take that one, Czernobog again. As you can see, it's a super safe team. The enemy has hardly been able to do any damage to us whatsoever. All right, so yeah, that is the team, guys. That is the troop right there, the Voiceless Golem. I really like this troop. I really like that spell. It's a unique spell, for one, that Silent Gaze. But when we look at the troop's speed, its spell usefulness, immunities / reductions, as well as its mana color and cost, we're going to rank this troop a B+ troop. Right, so the viability ranking for this troop is B+. It could be a little bit better. It's almost there, but yeah, it's reasonably good. It's the best of all the golems so far. So yeah, guys, if you actually like this video and you found this informative and useful, please share it with your guildmates, share it with anyone that actually likes interesting videos on Gems of War on YouTube. And of course, if you're not subscribed as yet, please hit that subscribe button. Come on over, and we'd appreciate it. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.